Hey, good morning or good afternoon rather. It is February the 16th, Friday, the last day of the week for trading here. I wanted to give you all a little video. I did my Facebook Live earlier, and that went pretty well, and that was a fun little experience to do. So, one of the guys that was in there, and the guy I went to high school with, actually had asked me about a biotech stock that it was fairly speculative and stuff, and so that kind of got me thinking. Well, maybe people need some speculative holdings because they're looking for some gains. And one thing I always have to say whenever you're talking about something that's speculative, um, you don't want to go investing 40% of your portfolio in this thing, or, this needs to be a small percentage of your thing, and you kind of need to look at these kind of investments as ones that you're willing to lose 100% of your investment if something goes wrong. That's not saying that you will, or that's the likely outcome. It's just that, with some of these bigger names like Google or Facebook or Procter and Gamble or Johnson & Johnson, I mean, they're very well established. They have deep pockets. They have financing people or people to finance them and loan them money at really cheap rates and stuff. So they're a lot more stable, and their future prospects are a lot more cemented in so they kind of have a better. I know that Procter & Gamble is going to be around in 10 years, whereas some of these speculative ones I do not. So the one I'm presenting to you right now, and this is one that I've actually already owned and still own right now in another portfolio actually. But it is MYSZ is the name of it. MYSZ is the ticker. If you're wondering what they do, so some of these software, or rather apps and stuff like that, that allow you to measure yourself before you purchase clothes. These people are the ones who have that software and those patents on that software that measures you. I think this will eventually become a pretty big thing, especially as people buy more and more clothing off the internet or off like the Amazons and e-commerce kind of sites. One of the big drawbacks to buying clothes online is that you don't get to try them on ahead of time. So that's kind of one of the biggest things, and people will say that they'll go to the department store, try something on, and then go back to Amazon to purchase it. So in order to kind of make it easier for the consumer, this company here, MYSZ, they have developed some algorithms and software that you download to your phone, or that so Amazon might have it as a built into their site or their app, but you just let your camera look at you, and it measures you, and it tells you exactly which size you need to buy. And they say that the accuracy of these algos it's really strong. So it's actually really accurate, and it can give you some good measurements and stuff. So this company here is a way to play that. You notice here the other day it actually had, or actually the beginning of the year, it presented at CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show out in Las Vegas, Nevada. It did very well. It was well received, and so it got a huge bid up right here, and you see all this volume come piling into it that day. And it bid shares from less than $1 to over $3, almost $4. And they have since fallen back down. Now, I bought somewhere in this area, and I actually ended up selling it because it jumped pretty quick for me. So I went ahead and sold out, and I still own some of it. And now I'm looking to buy it back again. So this one, and you see here that we are actually in a sell mode with the moving averages. We have taken out this low here. We took out this low up here. So this is one that's technically in a bearish picture, but I just wanted to kind of point out here, and I'll switch over here to show you on this thing. So if you kind of come across through here, you can kind of see that this level right through here has been significant before, and you see all these little touches of it up through here. So you can kind of view this one of two ways. There's pretty much a line that should come right through here, and that's pretty much at $1, which makes sense because $1 is round number support, and then you also have a line that comes through here, which is pretty much $1.20 or so. So the reason that $1.20 is important, and I'll show you, is because if you look over here at this this 120-minute chart here, this shows that same move, and I went ahead and added this Fibonacci levels on here for you. So generally we want to see we see a spike. Oh, let's get rid of that and go to an arrow here. You see the spike. You come up, you look for a pullback to the 618, which it got. And actually went a little bit below it, and then it started going higher. It has since kind of not been able to clear out this level right here, and you can see we've tested it 2 different times. And once it did not hold, and we broke down below this 50% retracement right here, it's been down from there. But now we're getting to a point where we're starting to test, even though the 618 didn't hold, and it didn't hold over here either, so I'm not too concerned in that regard. but we did just touch and test the 786 retracement, which is at $1.21. So that's why I said that $1.20 area on the other side was important. Right now we're at about $1.29. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy some shares. I'm not worried about 3 pennies here and there because, like I said, this is kind of a play on a longer term growth story. And if you look at, say, like this weekly chart here, and we'll kind of zoom in just a little bit just so we can. Oh, we see over here, and this is because we had this huge spike up here to $16. I don't know what happened during that time. That was probably right after they IPO'd or something. But you know, like I said, we've touched 350 here. The weekly moving averages are now in a buy mode. We're above our 50-week moving average, so that's an encouraging sign. And we are holding above the low, so like I say, we've just now pulled back to the 786, which is exactly where we're at right now. And then I expect us to start moving higher. Now, where this thing can go to, that's yet to be seen. I'll have to do some valuations, you know, kind of figure out what they're worth as a company and what the expectations as far as growth. I know that the last time I was researching this thing, the growth was projected at like 70 or 80%. So, you know, they're basically going to double in size every year is kind of how it looks to be, at least for the next several years. So I think this is one that's going to give some good growth thing. And for $1 a share, or $1.30, you know, you can buy a couple hundred shares and not have to really put out much money or anything. And there is no option market to this one, so you'll have to play directly with the shares, and that's what I'm doing. Like I say, I already own some shares, and I'm just looking to buy some more. So I think that right here, right now, you can buy MYSZ as a speculative play on the growth of clothing being purchased through e-commerce sites and people's desire to have good fitting clothes without having to go out and try them on and then go back home and order from Amazon or whoever. So go ahead and buy a little bit of MYSZ as a speculative holding. If things were to get dicey just real quick, the levels you kind of want to be watching. Like I say, you don't want to put a huge amount of capital in here. This is not something that needs to be 10% of your portfolio. You know, you're talking about like a couple percent. If you need to put a stop loss in place and you want to define that risk, you could use these recent lows at about $1.15 or something, give it a little bit of wiggle room, which would be risking pretty much 15 cents to the downside. But if you are able to tolerate the pain, you could go back down to say this low. I just would not necessarily suggest it. Like I say, I think the dollar area is where it will find some round number support. So if you put it at, say, like 85 cents or 90 cents, something like that, that might work as well. But this is one that I'll probably just buy and I'll just let sit there, and I'll just have to keep up with it as we go and stuff, see what happens. But I think that from here, from where we're at, we should probably bounce around a little bit, so we'll have plenty of time to buy it, I think. But I do think that the trend will start switching and we'll start moving back higher. So there's your little speculative play, especially for those of you who need a little bit of growth or looking for some kind of growth story that will give you some very good or outsized returns. I think this is the name you need to look at for that position. So MYSZ, I'm a buyer. All right, see you later.